guys, Madmable77 here with part 2 of the bump keys video. I'm doing this mainly for guys on the forum who have been bombarding me with questions since the last video. So some of the regular UKLS guys may not want to watch this because it's just all about bump keys. If you don't know what a bump key is or you've never used them, then I'm not going to be talking technique in this video, so you may want to go look at my part 1 video and also have a look at some other videos on the net. I can definitely recommend, if you go to specialkeys.co.uk, click on the carlf key set. At the bottom is a YouTube video by a guy called Steve demonstrating the carlf keys. Probably the best training video I've seen. Because it not only tells you how to sort of guess which key you need by feel, i.e. how the key goes in and out, but it also shows you how to sort of work out which way the lock is going to bump, so that can make a huge difference as well. So I'm just doing this video for that. My cats at the moment are all over me on my bum, so I will continue this in a moment. I'm just going to stop the video, try and get rid of these annoying cats that always seem to want to come and love me when I'm on film, and I shall be back with you. Right, okay, there we go then, guys. As I say, I've had loads of messages since the last video I'd done. Most of the messages have been if people don't want to file their own keys, where do I recommend them getting them from, and also what type of keys. So I'm going to answer those questions. And also B, the main question I've had is, what are the cuts about? What's 1, what's 2, what's 3, what's low, medium or high? So I'm going to go through that as well. Firstly, I'm just going to quickly go on to the keys. Now you're going to see bump keys everywhere. They're going to vary in price, and a lot of people are going to go for the cheaper ones, as you do, but it's definitely a false economy, because most of those cheaper keys will be like this key here, which as you can see is a brass key. That's just a key I've folded up for a either lock, but that's a brass key. You really want to avoid brass keys. And this, which as you can see is a broken key, it looks like a steel key, but if you look, I don't know if you can see on here where I fold the shoulder off, it is actually plated brass. It's nickel plated, and a lot of companies will give you those keys. Again, they're as useless as a brass key, and this is what is likely to happen if you use them. I don't know if you can see that, but that is a snapped key in there. I didn't hit it, I just put it in, the teeth were slightly too long, trying to draw it out, and the key snapped off. So I've now got to drill all the top pins out here to rescue the lock. But that is what is liable to happen if you buy brass keys like this, which 90% of them on the internet will be. Obviously what we're doing with the bump key, we're striking the key like this, and what you will find, because this piece is in the lock and this piece is sticking out, unless you hit dead straight, which none of us do, we all hit an up, down or slight side to side angle. With me I hit slightly up, so what happens is this tends to start burning up, and right about here the key starts cracking. So throw it away as soon as you see that. Before finding the shop I now use, I tried 3 or 4 shops, all used brass keys, all crap, half of them didn't even work. These were cut with Leashy hand cutters, so they did look nice and triangular, but each one was a different depth. Completely useless. I had to file them to make them work. So now the only shop I will use personally is a shop called specialkeys.co.uk, run by a guy called Steve in the UK. And these are the type of keys you will get from him. This is just my various set, and over here is the universal set. All these keys down here that you can see, but as you can see, I mean, here's some blanks I've got from him. They're just keys that are to be filed, but all these are not coated brass. These are steel blanks. Now that is very important. Obviously we're using force, so we're hitting these keys, so we want them to be as hard as possible, and steel keys are without a doubt the only way to go. The other reason I only use special keys is the guy's a locksmith, and all these keys, every single one, they're not dragged off a shelf. You order them and he cuts them to order, at the various depths, and he stamps the depths on the back here. I don't know if you can see, but that one, for example, has got a number 2 stamped on the back. That is depth cut 2. And they're all hand cut by him, checked by him, and that's the important thing. Each key gets personally checked by him before he sends them out. He used completely steel blanks. There are 1 or 2 locks, I'm not sure which, I believe Master Lock may be one of them, where you can only get brass blanks, but if that is the case, he will tell you and he will let you know that you can only get a brass blank for that key. But definitely go along and use Steve. He will cut you anything, so if there's not something on the site, or you want a particular depth of key, you can say, you know, for example, if you order on there, he has 10 assorted keys where you can pick your keys. You can say, I want a Yale cut 3 and Eva cut 1. You can mix and match, but to be honest, if I went on that site, and if you're new to bumping, I would firstly go for this set, which is the Universal 6 and the Universal 5. Basically, it's a 10-piece key set for $19.99. And it's the universal one. That'll be more than enough for most lock sporters. Now, what they do offer, these are keys which, as you can see, they've still got the shoulder on. However, for an extra 50p a key, he will take the shoulder off. Now, I do them myself, but if you're not confident or don't have the grinder, ask him to do that, and I'll tell you for why. It may seem like, oh, 50p to grind that off, that's a bit stupid. Why would I do that? Well, I'll tell you why. If you leave the shoulder on, let me see if I can find a key with a shoulder on. As we bump them in, obviously you wouldn't use donuts then, but as you bump it into the lock, that shoulder hits the front of the lock like that, and it marks the lock. And that's not good if you're doing a customer's lock. If you take the shoulder off and use donuts, you can hit that key all day long and you're never going to contact the lock, and you're never going to leave a mark on the lock. So that's why we take the shoulders off. Now, Steve, there is an option on the site to have the shoulders removed. I would take that option, because just removing that shoulder will make your key probably last 10 times longer than with the shoulder on. And again, if you use steel keys, they're probably going to last 10 or 20 times longer than a brass key. So you can get twice as many keys for the same price, but they will be brass, and it is a false economy, because you'll go through 5 or 6 sets of them keys before you go through one set of these. So now we get onto the cuts 1, 2 and 3, and it is basically low, medium and high. Basically a number 1 has more metal taken off the key, so it will fit a lock with longer key pins. A number 2 is in the middle, and a number 3 is high. Now I'm trying to get these in order so I can show you easily, and they're not playing ball. But, oh, my thumb's not long enough here, people. Now I don't know if you can see there, we have 1 on the bottom, 2 in the middle and 3 at the top, and if you look closely, there's more meat taken off the 1, there's less left on the key. It's a very shallow key. Number 3 on the top has less of the key taken away, and basically all you would do, for example, when you pick up a lock, slide that key in. Now you can see that hardly any resistance whatsoever. That's a cut 1. I know this lock probably hasn't got any long pins in. Don't use that key. Go on to number 2. Now you can probably see in here a lot more resistance to that one. So I would suggest that would be a number 2, and a number 3 is probably going to be, there we go, even tighter. So this lock, as you can hear, get a lovely noise going in and out. There's no sloppiness. This lock, I would hazard a guess, would be a 2 or 3. As I say, if you go to Steve's website, go on to the carlf keys, the video at the bottom is a brilliant training video. I don't think that's what he meant it to be, but it's a brilliant training video to show you how to select the right key, and also how to see which way the key is more likely to open by count and dropping pins. But that's basically what the 1, 2 and 3 is, or low, medium and high on some keys. Now my advice as a lock sporter would be, go for the universal set. They will open pretty much anything. I'll give you a quick demonstration here. This is a universal 6-pin key. Now they will open 5 or 6-pin locks. you just use an extra donut if you're doing a 5-pin lock to take up a bit more space. This is a 5-pin, I'll do that last. This is a 6-pin, that's the ice, sorry, this is a 6-pin era, and this is a 6-pin lad. Both locks are fairly good locks, you know, not the easiest to pick, so I'll just show you how this 6-pin universal bump key works. This is the universal key from Special Keys, stainless steel, blank, excellently cut. This is number 3 cut, and this is 6-pin lard, as I say. I'm not in a vice, so it may take a few hits here, but I'll just show you. There we go, already gone. You know, that is 6-pin lard. Same key, not changing the key, as I say, universal key, into a 6-pin era. And again, make sure it's spaced nicely. And there we go, that one's open too. And these aren't cheap locks, they're 6-pin locks, good makes, they have security pins. And just to show you, the same key, which is a 6-pin key, to bump a 5-pin lock, I just put an extra donut on to take up the space of that extra pin. This is a 5-pin, I haven't got my glasses on, it looks like Hafel, I think they're French. This is a 5-pin, but bumped with a 6-pin key. Oh, ow, that was my finger. And there we go. Again, you know, this universal set is absolutely brilliant, and I do make my own keys, as everyone knows. I mean, this is a bunch that I've made myself. But personally, I bought the universal set of keys and removed the shoulders, so definitely go for the shoulderless option. I then chose the pick 10 of your own keys, which I did, and I have here, and I picked the 10 keys that I need that also cover the most locks: Maxis, Yao, Anti-Snap, Miele, a couple of padlock keys, GG, ones that I'm going to come across that weren't covered in the universal set. But most definitely get yourself trying on these bump keys. As I say, this probably sounds like an advert for Special Keys. I have no affiliation with them. After a lot of trial and error and spending money, however, that is now the only shop I trust. I know he uses quality blanks. He's a brilliant bloke. You can ask him to do anything and it's all done to order. It's not a case that he's cut thousands of keys, you put an order in and some idiot just pulls them out of a box without testing them. He cuts every single one after you place the order, and he tests every single one before he sends. So I hope that cleared up a few questions on the cut depths and where to get your keys from. I shall speak to you guys soon. Come and join us at uklocksport.co.uk and we shall see you there. Peace out. Madmable77.